Kevin and Marina Krim were the picture of a modern New York success story. He was a CNBC executive, navigating the high-stakes world of finance. She was a devoted mother, recording the joys of everyday life in journals and family videos. They lived on Manhattan's Upper West Side, a neighborhood of tree-lined streets, brick buildings, and the quiet confidence of security. Their children were their world. Lucia, Lulu, 6 years old, bubbly, artistic, known for her drawings and her kindness. Leo, just 2, bright-eyed, adventurous, the kind of toddler who brought laughter everywhere he toddled. And baby Nessie, 3 years old, still small enough to carry, still enchanted by bedtime stories. Into this life stepped Yoselyn Ortega. A 50-year-old nanny from the Dominican Republic, Ortega had been with the family for 2 years. She was trusted. She had keys. She wasn't just a worker, she was woven into their daily lives. But trust can be the most dangerous weapon. And on one October afternoon in 2012, that trust was turned into a blade. It was an ordinary Thursday. Marina took Nessie to swimming lessons, leaving Lulu and Leo in Ortega's care. The routine was familiar, safe, reassuring. Parents everywhere know the rhythm. One child to practice, another left at home, the day ticking along without fear. But when Marina returned to the apartment at 57 West 75th Street, something was wrong. The lights were off, the rooms were silent, the kind of silence that feels heavy, suffocating, wrong. She called for her children. No answer. She moved through the apartment, each step slower, heavier, a mother's instinct screaming inside her. And then, the bathroom. The door creaked open, and what she saw would never leave her. Lulu and Leo, their small bodies in the bathtub, stab wounds across them. The water stained red. Hovering over them, knife still in her hand, was the nanny. There are crimes that wound. And then there are crimes that shatter the foundation of trust itself. A mother had left her children with the woman she trusted most, the woman who should have been their protector, their shield. Instead, she became their executioner. Investigators later revealed Ortega's life was unraveling. She was drowning in financial troubles. She felt humiliated, envious, bitter at the family she worked for. The Krims represented everything she believed she didn't have. On that day, her resentment reached its breaking point. Her envy twisted into rage. And that rage was taken out on 2 innocent children. She didn't just kill. She betrayed the Krim's deepest trust. She violated the one bond every parent must rely on, that the person guarding your children wants to see them safe. The city reeled. News cameras flashed across the Upper West Side as the story broke. 2 children murdered in their own home by the family's nanny. Kevin Krim was on a business trip when it happened. He raced back to New York, into a nightmare. The man who left home as a father of 3 returned to a family broken, 2 of his children gone. Marina, who had walked in on the unimaginable, was left traumatized, carrying the weight no parent should ever know. And the city, parents, neighbors, strangers, looked at their babysitters differently. The one person you trust above all, inside your home, inside your children's world, suddenly felt like a risk. Fear traveled like wildfire. Could this happen again? How well do we ever really know the people we let into our homes? Yoselyn Ortega survived a self-inflicted stab wound that night, and she faced trial 6 years later. The defense argued insanity. Her lawyers claimed she was too mentally ill to understand her actions, that this was madness, not malice. But the jury didn't buy it. They saw a woman who planned her crime, carried it out, and left no doubt of her intent. They saw the betrayal for what it was, deliberate, merciless, unforgivable. In 2018, Ortega was convicted on 2 counts of first-degree murder. Her sentence, life in prison without parole. For Marina and Kevin Krim, no verdict could bring back Lulu and Leo. But it was justice, Cold, incomplete, but justice all the same. So what do we learn from the Nanny murders? That predators aren't always strangers in alleys. Sometimes they're the ones you've let into your life. Parents, listen for red flags. A caregiver who shows resentment or envy toward your family. Unexplained anger or hostility. Signs of stress, depression, or instability ignored until it's too late. And most importantly, trust your intuition. If something feels wrong, it probably is. The Krims could never have predicted this. But their tragedy is a reminder. Trust must be earned, guarded, and never taken for granted. Yoselyn Ortega wasn't the first babysitter killer. In the early 1980s, Christine Falling murdered at least 5 children she was paid to watch. A teenager, entrusted with young lives, suffocating them one by one. She confessed at 19. She will spend the rest of her life in prison. The pattern is chilling. The babysitter, the protector, turns predator, and the smallest, most innocent pay the price. The Krims lost Lulu and Leo that day. They carry that loss every moment. Their tragedy is not just a story. It's a warning that even in the safest places, sometimes the danger is already inside. You've been listening to What We Weren't Told. We are a tribe. We don't settle for headlines. We walk into the shadows together, and we expose what hides there. So tell us, what do you think? Can trust ever be rebuilt after a betrayal this deep? Let us know in the comments. And if this story pulled you in, like, subscribe, and share. It motivates us to keep creating, and to keep bringing you more of What We Weren't Told. Next time, it's not the babysitter, not the nanny. It's the smiling neighbor across the street, friendly by day, deadly by night. The killer next door. When evil lives one doorstep away.